Hey guys, I know this is a bit of a cold open, but we were sitting here talking, and Greg is starting a bit of a journey as he has been talking about in the background for a little while. So we thought, hey, it might be kind of cool to talk about. We have questions for Greg. Greg has stuff to talk about here, and we thought maybe we could take a few minutes and just kind of talk it all out. So, Greg,
Yeah,
the floor is yours.
before we get into it, though, I don't want to say we're endorsing this, but we are going to discuss his path that he's going to try to take
His
to
decision.
drop some weight. And so we'll just try to learn along with him. And I'll say for everybody out there, you don't necessarily have to go this route, but a healthy lifestyle is always good. So I talk a lot of shit on the podcast,
yeah.
so I feel like I need to be here to help.
Honestly, I think this is
positivity.
this is perfect right here, dude, because you just went through a drastic change in your health. I'm actually going through, but I'm trying a more traditional route right now. So
I mean, not just with food though. I mean,
did you hear my wife?
Smoking. Yeah,
you heard her in the background.
All I heard was,
no, we're not-
my God.
yeah. Art must be there trying to butcher her.
Yeah. He's just got her dangling. He's whacking away at her.
And this is where we lose Rick on the show.
But you can change your life in healthy ways, in different healthy ways. Like Rick quit smoking completely, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dude, that's huge. And we don't congratulate you enough on that. But this time we get to actually follow a journey with somebody, and Greg wants to be our guinea pig. So
yeah, dude, that's what I do. So thanks for kind of shitting on me before I even get on it, but I'm still gonna talk about it anyway. Yeah. So if you guys remember, I don't know when, but I created like this Post-it note list of goals. Okay, so this is my goals for like the second half of this year and going to next year.
Yeah, let's read them off.
So first one, it says goals for you, you fuck nugget. So that's me.
That's what you call yourself. That's the little things that you say in your brain.
That's your fucking contact information on my phone, by the way. Is that picture?
This Post-it note?
Yes.
Sweet. So anyway, my number one goal was don't die from sleep apnea, which I think is a pretty good goal. Second one is don't get a heart attack or stroke, which is just as up there. Number 3, lose weight. Number 4, lose lower blood pressure. And then if I need a CPAP, that may help some of those. So I'm trying to avoid the whole CPAP route. So my wife actually a few months ago, and they do not sponsor us, so we are not endorsed by them. But if they want to sponsor us, that would be cool. But anyway, there's this weight loss program called Calibrate, and basically what Calibrate does is it is a recalibration of your biology, your attitude, your mental, your mental game, your strength, working out, wellness thing, and basically they guarantee that if you follow their program over a year, you're guaranteed to lose 10% of your body weight, healthily, whatever.
What's the guarantee if you don't?
So I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if people have, not met that goal, as long as they followed their program per se. I'm sure there's people who maybe didn't, or maybe gave up on it, or maybe who aren't honest. Because, let's be honest, everybody, for example, the first of a new year, right? Everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym. And then beginning February, March, they don't go to the gym anymore, right? It just happens. So I'm sure there's those types of people, but the way that Calibrate does things different is they give you have a medical team, which is made up of doctors and nurses that are like nutritionists and things of that nature. And then you
already sound like the Russian from Rocky 4.
A what? A Russian from Rocky IV?
You sound like Ivan Drago from Russian 4. Like, I got this medical team behind me.
Ivan Drago for the listeners.
Drago, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Drago.
Dude, if I can look like Ivan Drago, I'd be all right with that.
So okay, keep going. So you got a team of medical professionals.
So you got a medical team that supports you. And
are they assigned to you? Do you have like individual nutritionist, individual doctor, individual, or is it?
Well, so initially when you go through the program, you are, and I'm going to kind of get into that in a minute, kind of like some overall best steps and stuff like that, best practices that I've learned so far. But yes, you are. One of the first things you do is you have like about an hour-long conversation with a medical doctor. And then before that, you have to get blood work done. They do a full panel on you and everything, so they know, what, your blood work is good at, if you're, what your BMI is, what your risk of diabetes is, thyroid stuff, things of that nature. And then you have that hour-long conversation with that doctor who goes over your blood work, kind of goes over the medications, And you do get 2 medications. The 2 main ones are metformin, which is like a pill form. And then you also get an injectable, which they do have it in pill form too, but that most people get the injectable GLP-1 medications, and there's different vendors that have those.
Is that Rybelsus?
I don't know. He, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of dumb. So he was like, "Whoa, hey, I know, but anyway, yeah." So he was like going over all those, like there's like different vendors and then different things, and I was like, he's like, "So what do you think?" And I'm like, "You all said drugs that end in Zic, and whatever you think is best for me, like go for it, whatever." So now there is a delay in the medication. So the metformin, they get to you fairly quickly. And then the GLP injectables, kind of take a little bit longer, a few weeks after that, because they work with your insurance company and they figure out, what your insurance covers. They also have different types of programs where they try to keep it to where you're paying less than $25 for each set of like the injectables and things of that nature. So that's kind of a quick high level from the medical side of it. And then they also have this medical support channel where if you have, side effects or you need to reach out to the medical team, then you reach out to them and then they will, help, out, whether it's adjusting your medication, things of that nature. And then they also have, everybody gets assigned a coach. Now you meet with your coach, I think every 2 weeks, I believe. My first meeting with my coach is on Friday. So yeah, and then that coach is with you to kind of help you out and keep you on track through the year. So that's kind of like a quick little like high level overview. So it's part medicine, and then it's part like changing the way you eat, the things that you track, things of that nature, and that, like, doing all that, they guarantee at least 10%. But they've done like thousands of people, and most people lose way more than that. Like there's some people who have lost like 20-25% of their weight.
What does a program like this cost?
So good question. So it is kind of expensive. Not gonna lie. I think the whole 12 months is, I think, like $1,600 or things like that, something in that range. But they also have financing through a firm, and I guess with the firm, it's like $100-something a month. Like I think like 130, 140.
Without a firm, is it paid up front?
Yes, for the year.
So that doesn't include your prescriptions?
No, that does not include your prescription. That's just the year program. But so let me show you
again. What's the name of it?
Calibrate.
Yeah.
So with that, right? So most of their stuff is done through their app. So like, if I can show you, like this is, now I have iOS. I'm sure it's looks similar on Android, but so like you go to your Calibrate, right? And then basically, like for me, since I have Apple everything, it pulls the data from Apple Health, so things like your sleep, and then if you have an Apple Watch, and then it looks at like, the health stuff from the Apple Watch. But there's things that you have to track every day. They give you, and I'll show you like the little introductory kit that they give you, which is a lot of stuff. But like you take measurements throughout the program and you upload everything from the app. There's also there's a series of like short little classes that you do throughout the year too, that help you, keep, on track and balanced and everything like that. So it's not just hey, here's drugs, take it for a year, we'll talk to you every 2 weeks. It's an actual entire program that, you meet with coaches every 2 weeks. You have follow-up appointments with the doctors as needed. And then they also have a little chat thing where, so they have like a medical chat, and then they have like a support team chat. And then basically, so if you have medical questions, and I just met with my doctor. So the doctor, all the documents and everything we covered are in that chat. And then, like I said, I meet with my coach on Friday, the 19th.
What made you choose this one?
So my wife has been on it for like 3 months, and dude, I think she's lost, I think, like well over 25 pounds, I think. in 2.5 months. So I'm like looking at her. She's already sexy, but now she's getting sexier, losing all this weight. And then my ass just keeps getting fatter and fatter. So I'm like, I got to do something, man. And if this is working for her, why not try it? So that's why I decided.
So, what did the doctor say about giving you diabetic drugs?
So they basically, so yeah, he did say that it was, but basically I'm not a doctor or whatever, but like my understanding is that what those medications do is they kind of work to, I don't want to say rewire your brain or whatever, but basically they make you eat less. So you feel fuller faster, and then it helps kind of, it makes you eat less, right? Essentially is what both of them do, with the metformin and the GLP-1. And I guess both of those combinations have kind of worked the best for their program. So the way that they do it, though, is that they start you off with the highest doses first, and then throughout the year they start waning you off to a point that hopefully by the end of the year you're following their program, and you're not relying on the medication as much as you are, the actual tracking of the program itself. And I think
have they talked to you about any risk involved with taking that medication during the program?
So yeah, so one of the things that they look at is there is, like, if you have thyroid issues, there is they and the doctors go over all these studies with you, so kind of forgive me for not remembering them all. But there have been studies in mice that they did have, like with the GLPs, there was a side effect of like thyroid cancer. But the doctor that I had, he said he's literally seen thousands of people on this program and he's never heard of it. But if you do have thyroid issues, or if you have a family history of thyroid issues, then it is something that they closely look at and monitor throughout the program. And then other side effects too. I think they mostly come from like the metformin, but metformin, diarrhea, real bad heartburn, things of that nature. I guess fatigue is also kind of a side effect. But like my wife, she takes everything before she goes to bed, so that way if she does feel any of those side effects, then it's happening over her sleep. So
is there a way to do the GLP without the metformin?
Yes. But they kind of combine them both, and then there's different type of medication, different types of metformins out there. So there's like a delayed release metformin too, that I guess for some of the people who have some of the higher side effects, that they can get, I guess, put on this delayed release metformin, and that seems to help some of the people that get like the real bad heartburn and the other side effects. But I want to be clear here, I'm not a doctor. None of us here on this podcast are doctors, so don't take anything we say as medical advice.
Yep. And Greg's not even officially started it, so we're not endorsing it by any means. We're just going to go on this journey and see how it works out.
I'm just asking because I know a lot about metformin from seeing it with my family and friends that are diabetics, and that was the most severe. That was the one that the doctors wanted to get them off of the fastest because it can mess with your brain and shit. So,
well, he doesn't have that concern really, so that's
not
good.
at all. There's a lot of air up here, so I'm good.
I mean, honestly, this sounds like a cool program. I hope it works. It's obviously working for your wife, and if this works, then maybe this is a lot easier than me going and sweating at the gym as much as I have been. And
yeah.
Well, with this though, so do you have to make any diet restrictions?
Yeah. So you're supposed. Well, no, not really. I mean, they do want you to count like the red. Like, and I don't really know this fully, so I can talk on it on another video because I meet with my coach this week, and then I guess they go over all like the tracking and stuff like that. But to my knowledge as of now, yeah, you're supposed to track like foods, like things like red meats and things of that nature, and then you kind of track how much of those that you have. However, the good thing about Calibrate is like they're not like, they don't bust your balls if you kind of cheat here and there, or if you eat something, whatever. But what I found is that, my wife now, she, and take it for what it's worth, but like she barely eats half her meals. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And she's like, I'm full. I'm just, so obviously that's a part of it too. but it's kind of like the way that her brain is kind of been rewired with the medication with that stuff. But yes, there is some type of food tracking program that's on there, and then they also encourage you doing exercise. I
My
don't know if it's
concern,
every day or
my concern with this would be a dependency upon the medication in order to not eat, right? So you see it with people who go through liposuction or things like that, right? They just go back to their bed diet habits right after, and then they put the weight back on.
Oh, you know what? I think you actually spoke about that when he walked away for a second.
yeah. So they give you a coach, and you meet with your coach every 2 weeks, and then the coach goes over.
But what about the year after? Because this is a year-long program, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of foundation are they setting you up with in long term, right? Because I truly believe diets shouldn't be a 60 or 90-day program. I'm adamantly opposed to get.
Well, the definition of a diet is a lifestyle change, right?
It should be it's a prolonged way of thinking and eating in which we'll maintain over a long period of time, right?
Yeah.
So what is the foundation that they're promising long term on this?
So I don't know specifically, but I do know that they have like year 2 and on programs. Now, what those are composed of, I don't know.
And then would those maintain? Oh, so no idea if they're still medically induced.
Yeah. So, but from my understanding, the goal is that they want your, like Rick said, they want your lifestyle to change, right? So they help you in the beginning with, through medications that, set you up for success in doing that, with the goal, at least the way I'm kind of seeing it, is that by the end of a year, you're not so much reliant on the medications because you're following that lifestyle. And then there's other things that you do too, is like you have to do weekly classes, and they're short little like 5-10 minute lesson things. They're everything from like understanding biology to understanding like, tracking foods. They give you like advice on, good foods to eat and things like that. So it's an entire educational process, and that's why they call it Calibrate, because they want to recalibrate your body to following a healthy lifestyle, and the medication is just kind of a part of it.
I'm extremely weary, and we learned this during the whole COVID vaccine thing of medication.
Yeah, we know you hate needles.
Well, it's not just needles. I avoid Tylenol whenever I can. Like I have to be in really bad pain in order to take an ibuprofen. So like Rick was saying with the medication, have you talked to your general practitioner about this diet?
So I did. And
I'll tell you, just talking to the diets from their program, they're always going to sell you a program, right?
Yeah.
So I would want to get an outside source.
Absolutely. So I did talk to my doctor before, and I told her, and she's like, really? She's like, Greg, I can fucking prescribe you metformin right now.
So that was going to be my next question. Why can't you just go to the doctor?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of doctors will not issue or prescribe GLPs unless you have an actual active medical need for them. And the way that Calibrate gets beyond that is that your body mass has to, I think, be at or above like 30%, I think. And there's other factors that go along into it with your blood work. And then that's how they're able to have insurance companies and them have the authority to prescribe the GLPs, because GLPs are not one of those drugs that they can just prescribe anytime they want. There's certain criteria that you have to meet before you're prescribed that.
So to me, and this is my brain and where it goes, and it's not to shit on this company at all. I don't know anything about them, and I don't know enough about these medications. But these rules might be in place for a reason. And then for this company to find the loophole to get around those rules, that's something that I'd want to explore, right? And I definitely want to talk to my doctor about long-term effects on what this is going to have on my body. And not from a doctor from this corporation, because we all know that the umbrella corporation believes in the umbrella corporation, right? I'd definitely want to get a second opinion.
Yeah. So, my doctor never heard of it, but she just kind of, from my understanding, she didn't say anything. She was like, because she was even like, wow, well, GLPs we get for diabetes, we didn't know it was, being used for weight loss. But She was like, I don't see anything why you can't take these. And then, I plan on obviously keeping my primary doctor informed. but the way I understand it, I guess both metformin and GLPs have been used for a very long time now. So it's not like it's a brand new drug that we don't know anything about. To me, it just looks like, this medication has been around for a while. And then now they're just kind of looking at it on how they can use it for lifestyle changes. So
yeah, you're talking like Viagra in the same way, right? So medications can have multiple impacts on your body.
Yeah.
Rick, you were saying you knew some things about the side effects on these.
Yeah, metformin's no. I mean, the thing about metformin is it's literally a miracle drug for it, in the last few decades. This is something that's pretty incredible because it's cheap and it's effective for diabetes. So worldwide, it's used. I mean, like it's everywhere used. Everybody uses metformin. The thing about metformin, though, and what they're discovering now, decades and decades later, is that it can cause certain cancers. It can mess with the brain and progress. Like dementia, shit like that. There are some side effects there that, and it was just funny because I was just looking up metformin right now, and the major thing that they were talking about, instant side effect that everybody gets. So if you start with too high of a dose, you're going to have gastric and not reproductive. Your stomach, you're basically going to have distress. You're going to have the shits. You're going to be nauseous, maybe vomiting,
So you said
because
diarrhea.
the dose is too high, and most doctors start you on a small dose and then work your way up to avoid that. Watch your carbs. I will tell you that right now. 30 to 50 carbs a day, you might not be so nauseous. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I was just reading about that.
And like I said, I'm just starting on this thing, and I can just kind of, based on my wife's observations, but yeah, I mean, obviously I'll keep you guys informed on all that. But in talking to their doctor and my primary doctor, I didn't see anything immediate where I was like, whoa, no, I'm not going to take that.
I have one last question for you as we wrap this up.
Well, I still have things I need to show you guys, but anyway.
Oh, okay. What happens if you decide a month from now, taking the pills, taking the medication, and it's really fucking you up, and you're like, dude, this isn't worth it, and you decide you do not want to continue with this program for the year? Do you still owe $1,600?
So that's a good question. So that's something that I don't know the answer to. Because I was kind of wondering that too. I was like, well, can I get a refund based on this or that? I'm sure they cover it on their website somewhere,
They don't.
and
like,
that will obviously be a question I'll ask my
website.
coach too. What?
They have the guarantee on their website, but there's a lot of things that they don't cover.
But that's a guarantee to lose weight. That's not a guarantee that you're going to follow through.
Right? Well, they're not going to give you back the $250. They're not going to give you back the cost of medication, labs, or services charged by third parties. So not that full amount is refundable.
Yeah.
But you might get a little back.
And then here's the thing too, like, they work with your insurance company. So, the price of your blood test and or the medication shouldn't be that high, Now I can see, now they have had issues with insurance problems and people not able to get their medications on a timely basis. To fix that, they recently teamed up with, I never heard of it, but it was called PillPack. And basically it's a prescription company that's teamed up with Amazon, actually. And since they've went to PillPack, they've had, like, most of their issues have been resolved. Another issue that I saw too was, for some reason, I think they went to a new system and their customer support kind of had problems. So I just kind of want to, kind of share some best practices real quick when it comes to that stuff. So let me show you all this stuff. So what you do, part of your $1,600 is, they give you like this welcome box, right?
And then that $1,600 does not include the cost of medication.
Correct.
Wow.
It can be expensive, but I bet you most of the people that are willing to spend $1,600 have insurance. You would think.
So what they do is they give you that box, right? And then one of the key things in that box is they give you this weight scale. So this weight scale is only for the person on that program. So nobody else in your household can use that scale. So it's a scale only to you. And in that scale measures, I actually have a Withings weight scale that I had before this. And it's actually pretty good. It tracks, obviously not just weight, but BMI, and then changes over time and things of that nature. So you get that automatically syncs up to your Calibrate app, right? And then you're supposed to check your weight every day, right? And then they give you this, tape measuring thing because they want you to take measurements of yourself, because it's not just about weight, it's about your body size measurements that they're tracking. And then also, I don't know, I got these bands. I don't know what the hell they're for, but I guess my coach is going to tell me during our meeting. And then they give you...
it's for when you
they
fuck
look
up,
like
Greg.
They look like they're for your injections.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It says, hold on to these.
That's not bad.
We'll go over
I
it,
was
whatever.
thinking whenever you fuck up during the program, they're gonna make you slap your or pull it
That's
back.
what I was
and hit
thinking too.
yourself.
I was like,
Yeah.
And then they give you like, some literature. So they give you this, and then they give you this whole big like, food resources thing that has
Meal
like,
plan?
and they go off of like these triangle things. So each of the triangles from when you begin to as you go through the program, they're like, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but they have things like, each triangle has things that you should look out for as far as food and stuff like that, which will be, explained to me during my coach's meeting. And then they obviously give you, the Calibrate notepad for your notes. But some things, so other than that, so some best practices. So one, when you sign up for the program, obviously, I paid for it for the whole year. So hopefully it works. But my wife also did the Affirm on her end. So we kind of got both spectrums there. Haven't had any issue. And then what they do is they send you, once you log in and set it up and all that stuff, what you do is you got to fill out your health assessment and like your basic screening, right? Where you basically just, go over all your info, all your health stuff, and then kind of like, just other like Q&A things that they have you fill out. And the next part of it is and this is very, very fucking important as a best practice. Trust me. So you get to a part where they'll say,
you always
hey,
got to take your injections in between your toes.
Yes.
So you don't have track marks.
Yes.
It's
exactly.
heroin, isn't it? They're giving you heroin.
So on the very first questionnaire you get, okay, it's going to tell you, hey, you need to set up your doctor appointment and then your coach's appointment, but you can't see your doctor until you've had blood work in the system. Like all your labs and stuff have to be in the system within 5 days of your doctor's appointment. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just not going to schedule that stuff. I'm just going to get my blood work and then go back to the actual questionnaire and then set up my appointments, right? Well, here's the thing. Once you hit submit on that thing, it's done, right? And like, so I got my blood work and then I tried to go back on the document. It was nowhere to be found. I even went on the app, used their chat things. They were like, our team will get back to you within 72 hours. In my experience, I had to wait at least a week before somebody got back to me. But then when somebody did get back to me, then I was able to go back in there and then set up my doctor's appointment and then set up my coach's appointment. So do all that stuff in the very beginning. Trust me, your doctor's appointment is not going to be at least for a few weeks. And they send you the lab orders for your blood work within like 24 hours in your email. So, and based on your insurance, they'll set up an order. Like, so for me, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, so I have to use LabCorp. So they already sent everything in the blood core, and they did that within like 24, 48 hours. So don't worry about that part like I did. Just go ahead and schedule your doctor's appointment and then your coach's appointment. But be warned, the day that you select your first coach appointment is going to be the same day and time, more importantly, day that you're always going to see your coach throughout the rest of the year. So, if they have availability on a Thursday, but you can't get to it till like a Friday, well, wait until there's a Friday one available before you schedule your first coach's appointment. So those are just kind of like some best practices that I've learned. The CEO from Calibrate has actually sent out multiple emails like apologizing for the customer service and those types of issues. They kind of went to a new program. So hopefully, I haven't had issues since then. So hopefully I won't. But yeah, that's kind of like my general base starting point. And then I get my metformin delivered to me. Oh, on the pill pack thing, it's all delivered to your house. I mean, you can have it go to your pharmacy, but my wife's done the pill pack thing, and she's not had one issue with her medications getting delivered. The metformin, I think, is daily, and then the injectables are once a week. Obviously, that's subject to change. So, and then throughout the program, like I said, if you have questions, you can reach out to either the medical support channel or the customer support channel for everything that's not medical related.
Okay, so your first coach is coming up on this coming Friday.
Yeah, the 19th.
Can you record it?
Huh?
Can you record it?
I was thinking about like recording my doctor, and then I was like, no, probably not. Yeah,
don't do that. But I will say that after your appointment with the coach, let's go ahead and get back together and follow your journey some more.
Yeah, and I started to work out again, so hopefully, I'll start seeing results here fairly soon. Because
I'm not a big fan of just diet pills in general. But we'll see how this goes.
No, there needs to be a workout regimen with everything, I think.
Yeah.
Do you have a goal weight in mind?
As much as possible.
Well, I mean, as much as possible. You could be 120 pounds at the end of it.
So in all transparency, and I don't mind talking about this, so I've gotten to 302 pounds before. Currently today, which is I'm kind of counting as like a start day, I weigh 298. So I would love to eventually.
So you already lost 4 pounds just signing up for this.
Well, like the 302 pounds.
That's pretty effective. That's a really effective program.
That had nothing to do with this program.
Holy shit. You just made a phone call and you lost 4 pounds.
Wow, dude. Hey,
wow.
Rick, call him right now. See if we all lose weight while we're talking.
Right? I'm just throwing this out here. Guys.
Yeah. So no, that I'm just saying, like in the past, I've gotten up to 302 pounds, but today I'm 298, 2 pounds, whatever. But I'm hoping, I would love to ultimately see myself get to low 200s, but I'm also a realist. I don't think that's going to happen within a year, but it is something that
could happen.
It could, but I would love to see at least half of, I would love to see at least a good 50 plus pounds, if not more, by a year.
Well,
but they only consider 10%. So if you do 300 pounds, 10%, what is that? 30 pounds. So we'll see.
That's with just the medication, right? That's their guarantee. Like Lee was saying.
Well, no, not just the medication. It's their entire program. So it's, the coaching, the classes, the eating, the tracking, exercise, and medication. So it's their entire program. It's not just the medication.
Well, are they giving you a list of exercises to do?
So they kind of leave it up to, I think they do give you.
I think you got to let him meet with his coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why don't we wait for the coach before we continue to ask any more questions?
But Duper, you've been to my house, dude. Trust me, I have a lot of fucking workout equipment that doesn't get used enough. So I don't have any problem creating or doing exercise programs. I just need to fucking do them. That's all.
What I will say is that if you want to follow along with Greg on his journey, make sure you find us on TikTok and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, and we will keep you updated.
Yeah,
cool.
Stay fit, America.
Good luck, Greg.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, buddy.